Hey, and welcome to this week's Connect at Cornerstone podcast. This is our chance every week to get together and just for me to share a few ways you can connect and to give you a few updates about the church, about what we're doing, about kind of a recap of last week's message as well. And so today I want to start off by sharing about our community meal. I'm filming this on Thursday morning, so our community meal was last night, and man, it was awesome to be able to see quite a few of you either dropping off meals or a few of you that were there serving. I want to just thank you. It was so great for us to be able to do that together. We were able to serve quite a few families. We had just a number of people drive through and pick up meals. We had a little bit of food left over that we were able to distribute, I think, to different places, to the Hope House and to the police station, to the nursing home. So we took a few meals out and everybody was just so appreciative. And so one of the things I really loved about this outreach, we did it a little different this time because we had people just bring prepared meals. It was the thought that went into it. It was the prayers that went into it. And so a lot of you together with your family got together the meal and put cards and notes of encouragement. I even saw a Bible stuck in the meal. And when we give things like that out, it just shows that, hey, we care about you, that we're in this together. And for our church, I'm just so proud of you that you really stepped up to the plate and served like you did. So I just want to thank you for that. It was good seeing so many of you as you came through, and I know it's been a long time now since we've been able to meet in person. It's been over a month now, so when we get together like that, it was just awesome to see each other. And we can't shake hands and hug, but we could at least wave and say hey. So hopefully over these next few weeks we'll have some more ways you can get connected and get involved and to serve and to reach out to our community. So I want to thank you for that. A few other things I want to talk about. I know a lot of people are getting a little bit of what I would just say cabin fever. And so you're getting to the point now where the first few weeks it's manageable. We've got this. We can do it. And each day, each week that passes on, it gets a little tougher. And so you're getting a little stir crazy. You want to get out of the house. You're tired of, and I just want to just kind of caution you a little bit. I know we do have more cases in Galax now. There is still a risk of transmitting and catching the coronavirus, and we've just got to be careful. And so for like the community meal last night, we wore masks. We tried to keep our distance, and it's hard. It's hard to do, but we need to be careful. And the better job we do now at preventing the spread of it, it will mean the sooner we can get back together and meeting in person. And so let me just encourage you with that. If we can kind of slow this thing down, then that kind of sets the stage for us to gradually reopen and start meeting together. And that's one of the things we've really been looking at for the last week or two. We've really started focusing on what is church going to be like when we do reopen. And so we're reading a lot about that. The elders, we're talking about it. Our staff, we're talking about it. And everything from, okay, what is it? What are the steps we need to do, and how can we start preparing now for when we reopen? And some of it will be dependent upon the guidance we receive and the restrictions and when they're lifted and all that stuff. But at the same time, we want to be careful. And so we're looking at how can we do that in an effective way. I can almost guarantee that if you're part of that at-risk population, and whether you're immunosuppressed or you've got other underlying issues, it's probably going to be best that you stay home for a little while longer, even as we do reopen, just to kind of stay safe. I have a feeling that we'll have to kind of spread out even at church, and so it'll be a little different as far as again hugging and shaking hands, and we won't be doing that as much. We'll have to kind of figure out how to space out seats even a little bit. We're looking at how to do children's ministry, and so that's a challenge in and of itself. Is how do you do children's ministry, and ask kids to kind of keep a little bit of distance and to stay as careful as they can. And so I do have a feeling that more kids will be in the service with us. Some kids will be downstairs. We're working through all of this and the cleaning and the disinfecting and all that stuff. And just know that when we get the word that we can start meeting again, we're going to have a plan, and we're going to be able to start implementing that plan. One of the things we're really striving to do right now is to get our new outreach center, our new community center finished. And that will give us more space. And so it may be possible for us to have half the people in the worship center upstairs and half the people in the new building and simulcast between the two locations. And so we're looking at that too. We're really working hard to get that building done. And that's another way I want to thank so many people for stepping up and serving with our new building. And Don Smythe has been organizing a lot of stuff, and he has done such an incredible job. We really, if you see him, thank him for what he's doing, because it's really making a difference. The building, we're kind of at the point now we're doing our finishing touches. We're getting cabinets put in, getting the appliances are starting to get delivered for the kitchen. We're just right now we're lots of building shelving units, just lots of little projects. We're spreading topsoil this weekend, I think, and trying to get it ready to plant grass seed and get the outside done. So if you are interested in helping in any way, you can go to mycornerstone.fyi, and that's a website we mention a lot, but it's how we sign up. It's how we stay connected and get connected here at Cornerstone. And if you go to serving, or I want to serve, or serving opportunities, click on that, and then there's a list of different ministries, and one of those is the building construction team. And if you check that off and go ahead and sign up for that, we'll be sure and we'll let you know about upcoming ways that you can get involved and serve. Don sent out an email just last week with lots of different opportunities, ways, things we need doing, whether it's painting and, again, building shelving or helping clean up. Lots of little projects that will need to be done before we can get in the building. So we've got that going on. But if you've not driven by the church in a while, the next time you're out, be sure and drive by, pull through the parking lot, look over at the building. It looks so different than what it did 6 months ago. When you look at taking all that dirt out and opening up that side and putting windows in and the doors, we're really excited about this building, because it's not only going to be our community center where we do things like our community meals in the future. It'll be a big meeting space for community groups. It's also going to be our youth space. And so our youth have not really had a space of their own that they could meet in. And so they're usually, we're shuffled around. We've been in the community room. We've been in the children's area. We've been up in the worship center. This is going to give them a space where they can meet and really just kind of hang out on Sunday evening. So it's just going to be so nice to have the additional space. So thanks for your prayers. Thanks for your generosity, so that we can make that happen. I've got a few other things that I wanted to talk about too. One is our current sermon series. We're in a series called Beyond the Building, and this whole series it was kind of one we just decided to do just on the basis of what we're going through, but it just reminds us that what we're going through, it doesn't define us. We're not defined by the building we meet in. We're defined as a church because we are the called out believers who have gathered together, the ecclesia in Greek. And so what we do is really what defines us as a church, not where we meet. And so as the church, there's lots of things that we're going to learn, I think, and when we have the ability to reflect back on 2020. when we go into the future, 5 years or 10 years, and we look back, I think one of the things we're going to take away is that when we look at this year and what we've been through, we're going to see that it caused us to correct some things that were maybe out of alignment. What I mean by that is, I think for many churches, it's easy to get too focused on Sunday morning services. And this has been a kind of a correction, a call to realign ourselves around the mission of God and not just the meeting on Sunday morning. And so for everyone, it's making us realize, okay, yes, it's important to meet together. Yes, it's important as believers that we can gather together, that we can encourage one another, just as we've been talking about how we spur one another on towards love and good deeds. Yeah, we understand the importance of meeting together. But hopefully this is reinforced why it's so important for us to not just meet on Sunday morning, but then to go out and put our faith into action every day of the week. And how can we look for ways to minister? How can we look for ways to serve and to share? And so I really want to encourage you to do that. We talked this week about Barnabas and Timothy and Paul, and I talked about how we need to be a Barnabas and train a Timothy and pursue a Paul. And when you think about that, those are three relationships we all need to be cultivating in our life. And so we need to be an encourager, be that Barnabas that is an encourager and someone that is serving alongside others. And who are we serving alongside? Who's our team? Who's our tribe that we work with, that we get excited with, that we can serve together? We all need that. And so if you're kind of on the fringes at Cornerstone a little bit, so to speak, and you don't really know where you fit in, this is a time for you to reflect and say, okay, how can I get plugged in? How can I really find my team, my tribe? And whether it's serving in children's ministry or whether it's maybe it's serving in children's ministry, or maybe it's serving on the worship team, or maybe it's helping with the building construction team, or helping with the community meal. You just find a group of people that you can connect with, and you can serve, and you can link arms with, and you can attack and go on the offensive against the devil, and you can push back the darkness, and you can spread the gospel, and you can win the lost. And that's what it means, right? When we get out of our holy huddle, or we get out of our Christian bubble, so to speak, and we start serving together. So I want to encourage you to find that team and be that Barnabas, be that encourager with your teammates around you. But then we need to train a Timothy. And let me just ask you right now, who are you pouring into? Who are you investing in? Who are you training? I think this is important as well, and I think sometimes we really maybe neglect this because we think we're not worthy, or we think we're not ready, or we think we're not smart enough or mature enough to be able to train someone. But I kind of break it down this way. We've got a lot of families at Cornerstone, lots of kids. And if you are a parent, your number one job, right, is to disciple your children. To teach and train, to nurture and admonish, to really prepare your children and teach them what it means to follow Jesus. And so I want to encourage you. I mean, are you training them? Are you really, how are you doing family devotions? Are you doing family devotions? Have you taken the time to get your children to do devotions and share with the family? I think that's one of the things that I really love seeing, is when kids are able to get together as a parent and you say, okay, we're going to study, and you just pick a few verses, and maybe 2 or 3 verses, it may be 4 or 5, it may just be a single verse, and say, I want you to come and read this and come back tomorrow night and let's talk about this verse together. Let's share. Let's do a devotion. And again, it's got to be age appropriate for your child, and but every single child really can share something of what they're learning about God. And it may be as simple as, hey, I'm learning that God is good and He loves me. And He wants me to worship Him, and he wants to pray with me. And it may just be as simple as that, or it may be, if you've got a teenager, that they're going deeper in the Word. And so as a parent, I want to really encourage you to be intentional about doing devotions with your kids, about training them, about preparing them, about teaching them. And maybe if you've got a study Bible, or you can get online and find some good study Bibles, what are you reading together as a family? There's right now media videos that you can watch together as a family and discuss. There's good devotional books out there that you can just simply read. That's a good starting place, just to read a devotion together and then talk about it. But don't just read it, talk about it, think about it, process what you're learning. And I really want to encourage you to do that. And that's what it really means to train a Timothy. And then finally, pursue a Paul. And what we mean by this is, who are the mentors in your life? Who are the people that are speaking truth into your life and investing in you? And it just doesn't happen by chance. That's why we say you have to pursue a Paul. You really have to think about those people in your life, and maybe approach them and say, hey, I'm really wanting to learn a few things, and how can you help me? And take them out to lunch and pray with them and get to know them on a personal level, and really listen to what they tell you. And it really, this whole mentorship is so important. That we all have people we can call, that we can talk to, that we can learn from. Our elders here at Cornerstone, many, that's one of the ways that one of their roles is to shepherd, to care, to protect the flock. And so they're there for you if you've got questions, if you need help, if you need guidance. I'm thankful that we have a good group of godly men as elders that are teaching and preparing and protecting and shepherding those biblical roles that God has given them. We've got so many great ministry leaders throughout the church, and from youth and children and hospitality and worship, and I mean, we've got teams everywhere, security. And we've got ministry leaders in place that really care about the people that they're serving with. And so those are people that you can reach out to and say, hey, I need a little help. We've got our administrative team. We've got our staff. And what I'm just sharing is, we've got lots of people in place that really do care about you and are there for you. And if you've got questions, if you need help, I want to encourage you to reach out to them. And so just in this time when we're still a little crazy, when we're maybe not really knowing what our next step's going to be, when we're not sure when we're going to be able to get back together, my hope, my prayer is that you're really thinking about how I can be intentional, how I can be using the time that I've got right now. And I know many of you may be even more busy than before, but here's what I do know. We're not like traveling. We're not going 1,000 miles an hour and going different places. And for us, it means we don't have soccer games and Boone, and we don't have, we're bouncing around going to concerts and all this. And so what we're trying to do as a family is, how can we be intentional? How can we really really invest this time we have with each other as a family? What can we do together to make memories that will last a lifetime and that will impact the kingdom of God? So again, just think about that this week. If there's any way we can pray for you, anything you need, be sure to let us know. Again, mycornerstone.fyi is the place to go for that. You can let us know if you've got prayer requests, if you've got ideas to serve our community. Let's continue to pray for those in our community. And let's continue to pray that God will give us kind of clear direction and wisdom about what to do when we can start meeting again. So, guys, I just want to thank you for tuning in. If you've made it this far, thanks, and we'll see you soon.